Okay, this week, this is our second week of section 3. It's week 7 of the course. We're going to practice all the skills that we did last week, but we're going to do them one drawing at a time, and you'll essentially turn in your R3 drawing. So I'm just going to do a quick demo of one of them. I'll do 2.1. And what I want to do is make sure that you understand. This is about standards. And so these are all tools that you need to do the standards. Now the first standard is get the drawing right. So that's where you are to revise your drawings before you get started. Make sure they are correct. Then what we do is we set up the plot, set up viewport scale and lock it, place dims in paper space. Let me do those things on my sample. So I'm going to open. I have to find and open it. Get to the right one. 2.1. So here's my 2.1. Here's a perfect example. It's not on the right scale. Not on the right layer or anything like that. So I'm going to explode it because they're all supposed to be individual lines. There we go. And I'm going to save this. Now I'm going to do all my revisions at once. So I'm going to save this one as my revision 3. Go. So I've opened it, I've revised it to make it correct, and now I'm going to set up the plot. Remember, we go to our layout, right click, page manager, and you did all this last week. At least I hope you did. Many people did, a few people didn't. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do AutoCAD PDF General, A size layout, scale 1:1. That's my plot scale. ACAD CTB, so that didn't take too long. Set up my viewport. So my viewport needs to be big enough to accept the whole thing at whatever scale I choose. So I'm going to make my viewport larger. I just click on the viewport itself, click on a corner, click, move the mouse, click. So that's what I just did there. And now I have to scale it. So remember, I'm in my viewport, I'm on my layout, and I go paper changes to model, and I have to change my scale to 1=1. I think that's a good looking scale. Any of the common ones in there, lock it, and come back to model. So that was all of what we used to call R1. Oh no, now I have to place my dims in paper space. So I do a linear dimension. My O snaps are on, so click a corner, move it into place. That looks good. And the other dimension I wanted was across 2 of them vertically. That's what I called for. So that's what I would like to see. Now, R2 is to create layers. Remember, I need a geometry layer for the geometry, and I need a dim text layer for the dim. Remember, my geometry is in the model, and my dims do not appear here. They're on the piece of paper. So let's make new layers. That's my layer properties. Bring it here to where you can see it a little bit better. Click the little stack of papers with the plus on it. New layers. Geo. It's going to be black, white. Line type. Continuous. And let's see what... Oh, I'm in millimeters. A lot of you did that. So let me come back to my line weights. Right click on the little line weight button. Right click on the line weight settings and change it to inches. That's all you have to do. Then when you go to the line weights, I can find my 028, 0.028 inches. And then I've got another one called dim text, and it's red, and it's 0.014. So that's how you create layers. Now I have to assign them. So my dimensions, go up to the layer bar, click on it, and then click on dim text. Then go into your model, so I can click my paper, or I can go all the way back to my model itself, highlight everything, and geo. Let's see what I got there. And those are, I have to explode those once more. Oh, I know. Let me go. Sorry, I have this. If that happens to you, you need to go to your properties and tell it that the color is by layer. So color should be by layer, line type by layer, line weight by layer. I had them changed to do a demo before. Okay, come back to my layout. Everything looks good. And so that was the second part. That's R2. Now, let's go ahead and do the third part, which is modify the Dimstyle. So I type Dimstyle. And I'm going to modify this standard one. Standard, modify, primary units, and my precision goes to 2 decimal places. There we go. Now I have to do the same thing with my Leaderstyle, because I'm going to put a leader on here. Leaderstyle, modify, and the content goes to 0.125. So I don't know what I typed there. Point. There we go. 0.125. And I'll set myself up already. I know I'm going to want this on the dim text. So if I make my dim text current, I'm going good. And this is plate. .1. I just click outside of it. There we go. And the last thing to do is your text. DT, enter, J, enter, R, enter. Now I can pick my spot, click. My height was 0.18, enter, and angle of 0, enter, and type name, and plot scale 1 to 1. There you go. That's it. And when I review this, I'm going to just go right through that. I'm going to click that and see that you've done it. And I'm going to look to see that these are in paper space and these are in model space. And then I'm going to come up here and see if you've got layers. And then I'm going to look at these colors and make sure that your layers are assigned properly. Then I'm going to look at your dim styles and make sure they're correct. I'm going to look at your leader style and make sure it's correct. And I'm going to look at your text and make sure it's correct. So there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and do a save, and then I'll go ahead and submit that. So that is the work for this week on 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. Going through the standard tools, the tools that you use to control standards.